Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hi, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today we're discussing Deep Space Nine, Season 2, Episode 11, Rivals. In this episode, a conman opens a bar on the station and accidentally messes with the laws of probability, and Miles and Julian play space racquetball.
Because they can't just play racquetball.
Well, just like baseball was destroyed in the mid-21st century, all other sports were also destroyed and replaced with space sports.
Otherwise, no one would accept them.
Well, yeah.
I like how OBrien secretly made that room on the space station.
Why? Why is it him? He does everything. There's nothing that he doesn't do.
This is why he never saw Caikos. He was busy building this thing.
He does all the engineering of all the security systems, docking stuff, the computer as well, fixing the computer, building stuff. He's so vital. If they lose O'Brien, that station will be derelict within a week.
If that.
2 hours later, it's just an evacuation order.
Oh, we're done here. We need to get out of here immediately. O'Brien's dead. So, what did you think of this episode?
I thought it was a mix of good things, and bad things. So
Yes.
It's a 2-to-1 ratio there.
Not ideal.
No, I guess in the end, my favourite plot line was probably the racquetball, to be honest.
Why?
Because Martis was just a non-character. He just almost acted at random.
Yeah, they introduce him as someone who's actually a con man and can con people, but then he's just an idiot with a toy.
He just wanders from situation to situation, acting fairly arbitrarily, so he wasn't a very effective antagonist. Plus, he was trying to out-business Quark, and even with the laws of probability bent, you're not going to out-business a Ferengi. So, I don't know, it didn't really hold my attention.
I don't understand why that toy held Quark's attention for any length of time.
Probably because the guy didn't want to sell it.
I guess, but the application of it, so the idea is he would use it in his bar, but as the guy was using it, he was winning game after game, so presumably other people would be, and Quark would lose money. I really hated that toy thing.
Yeah, it was a bit bizarre that Quark was interested in it, but I guess if the guy doesn't want to sell it, maybe it has some worth. I mean, I don't know. Quark gets to see all sorts of random trinkets from the Gamma Quadrant and daft things like that. I don't think he was offering much. Those were like slips of Latinum. It was like $2 or something, I think.
Baby Latinum.
Slips, strips, and bars, I think.
Speaking of money, why did they introduce, what was it, Isix? Why not just talk about Latinum?
Oh, I never thought of that. Have they mentioned Isix before? I don't think so.
I think this is the first time, and it was weird to me. Why not just talk about Latinum?
Yeah, because then that would be relatable, kind of. Not that Latinum itself is very well fleshed out, but yeah, I don't know. Probably because they wanted it to have more than one currency?
Yeah, but it's established that Latinum is the prominent currency in this area, so use that. I can understand that other currencies exist, but it's so needless.
I guess it was just an attempt at world building.
Yeah, I saw it as that, but it's just strange if you're going to conduct business on Deep Space Nine. It should be in Latinum.
It's a very authoritarian point of view.
Odo is rubbing off on me.
Well, like bits of his gunk.
Yeah, little bits that get left behind. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be horrible if he had a residue.
He leaves a slime trail
Like a snail, yeah.
so he can mark his territory.
Well, I just meant involuntarily. Because he is a liquid man. Okay, well, there's not that much to say in terms of the plot. It was a bit here and there. And interesting enough, I guess. Shall I move on to the silly stuff I wrote down?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I've written down 5 things here.
Is that a record?
Oh, well, probably not. I mean, there are other episodes where I could have written down more. I just didn't care enough. I guess this one made me care enough to tear into it a little bit.
Yeah, there's enough in there for you to care, but then enough in there to make you annoyed, as you mentioned, the 1 to 2 ratio.
Yeah, well, it's like if you had a sandwich. If it's just a bad sandwich, you take a couple bites and you say, I'm done. I don't like it. But if it's good enough that you eat the whole thing and then you get indigestion and you keep finding bits of it in your teeth, you'd have a whole list of reasons why you hated that sandwich.
Yeah, it gives you the illusion of a better sandwich.
Anyway, the first thing I've written down is quite a British thing, so you almost certainly never picked up on this. This is going to be really specific. When O'Brien first turns up to play racquetball, Bashir is doing these weird stretches.
Yeah.
When O'Brien opens the door, Julian has his pointing finger, what's that, forefinger and middle finger extended in a V. That's a very rude gesture in Britain. That's the equivalent of middle finger to a British person.
Oh, okay.
And Bashir and O'Brien are both British. Well, O'Brien is from Ireland, but is that part of Britain? I can't remember how it breaks up, but yeah, they would both know what that means, I guess. So I don't know if they did that as a joke or what, but it kind of looked really weird.
Maybe he slipped it in, knowing whoever was directing wouldn't recognize it.
Yeah, because it's just like a hand squiggle gesture, but it's quite obviously he's flipping him off in British. And the way O'Brien looks, he's like, what are you doing? I don't know what that was, but it made me chuckle. I'm guessing you didn't notice that.
I did not.
No, if you go back and watch it again, it's really obvious, especially because the continuity around his hand is bad. It changes to V's sign for no reason. Okay, moving on. No, the second thing I wrote is that Martis makes a bar in an afternoon. He just starts a business.
As you do.
That makes no sense.
And it's immediately popular.
Yeah.
That could be conveniently explained because the rules of probability were mucked around with.
Oh, so he just opened a cupboard and said, hey, look, there's glasses, bottles of Romulan wine or whatever. Everything I need to start a bar.
Yeah, he just lucked into it.
I'll start a bar opposite a bar run by a Ferengi. What could go wrong? I wrote down a line Caikos said.
Kick his butt?
What?
She says kick his butt.
I thought you said Caikos butt. Like she would say that. Like O'Brien comes in, hey, I'm home. She just turns, looks him in the eye and says, Caikos butt.
She starts speaking in third person about her body parts.
I am Caikos smirking revenge.
I am Keiko's lack of surprise.
I am Keiko's inappropriate food choices. Now, what she said is she had the scarf or bandana scented with her perfume.
Yeah.
That just makes me think like she's...
Doused in perfume all the time?
No, when she says with my perfume, I make it... It just sounds like I've dabbed it in my musk. It made me...
The scent of Keiko?
Like, yeah, oh...
It's a delightful Cardassian recipe she picked up on.
Smeared with my B.O. just for you.
That's real love.
Well, she was offering him a sexy party later if he won or lost. We need like a tumbleweed sound.
Yeah.
Okay, they said the neutrinos were spinning both ways. Clockwise and anti-clockwise.
Yes.
But the spin of a neutrino is what determines it is a neutrino. They have a specific spin. I read this off the wiki.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything, so go ahead.
Oh, neutrinos are actual things, and they spin, but they only spin in a certain way.
What happens if it spins the other way?
It's not a neutrino.
Is it something else, like a neutrino?
It was like saying some of the red paint is red and some of it is green. So
Okay.
no, that is green paint. Okay, I don't blame them though, because that's very specific physics, and I don't know if they have a physics writer on Star Trek, but they probably don't. Although they usually play it quite well by just writing physics about stuff that is made up. I always think it's bad when sci-fi series choose stuff that is real and then use that, but wrong, when they could have just made something up, and then you can't say it's wrong because it's fictional.
To be fair, neutrino sounds made up.
Yeah, they are real. They go through stuff. They're actually quite hard to detect.
Well, our understanding of things has changed. Classical physics doesn't hold up in many areas.
Well, yeah, they may change it later on. Who's to say? They maybe just classify other stuff as neutrinos later on. Hard to say that would happen. But yeah, I don't know. I just wrote it down because it was on the wiki, and then I could say it as if I thought of it, and I would look super smart. Except I said it's from the wiki, so oh well.
That's okay. You can edit all of that out.
No, I have my honor. Okay, the last thing I've written down here. They find out the whizballs are making everything a bit funny. So they just run in, ask the guy to turn them off. He says, I don't know how to turn them off. And so they just whip out laser guns and start blowing them up.
That's how I solve my electronic problems.
There's so many reasons this is insane.
Yes.
They have no idea what it is or how it works. They know it has an internal power source. There's a civilian standing right there. What if one of them actually slipped and beheaded him?
Yeah. Or it's nuclear.
Yeah, they could shoot one and it just detonates. They don't know what it does. Maybe the effect will not stop if they destroy them. Maybe it's permanent. I don't know. Plus, one of the ones they shot was kind of behind the bar, and it's a bit weird that they managed to hit it because there was a pillar in the way.
They're crack shots.
Oh, well, like that film Wanted.
Yeah, they can
bend
the phaser.
Seems unnecessary when they could just walk around and shoot it.
There's no time to waste.
Also, it's unknown technology that could be incredibly useful. They could... oh, yeah, modifying the laws of probability. How would that ever be useful?
It's causing us problems. Let's just destroy it forever.
But what problems was it causing? Minor accidents, and O'Brien was good at catching a ball.
Kira fell. That is a huge problem.
She was fine, though.
This time.
Yes. There was no reason to destroy that. Maybe they would have isolated it and said, okay, let's take these away to... I don't know, they presumably have a research place with the Federation, like Daystrom Institute or something, and research them. But no, they just explode everything.
That is way too rational for our Commander Cisco.
Yeah, it seemed they were a little tired of the episode. I've also written down some stuff I liked.
Oh, let's hear those bits.
O'Brien said he made a complete arse of himself, and he took his shirt off. That was quite real for Star Trek. He's using a minor sweary word, arse. Again, that is British, so maybe they just didn't know that was a bit more vulgar than they usually speak on Star Trek.
It didn't stick out to me because O'Brien said it, and it makes sense. He would say something like that in a heated moment when he's escalated.
Yeah, trying to get an Irish character to not swear. I also liked how Bashir had to take the space ketchup from other tables, although it's annoying that that was part of the luck storyline, although they didn't draw attention to it. They never do things like that on shows.
Oh, I like that part a lot.
He gets this second one, it's like, it's empty as well. He has to get a third one.
Yeah.
And you think it's going to be a big point, but then that's actually how it works.
Yeah, you think he'll make a comment, oh, finally, I had to get 3 bottles before I found one with something in it, when it's obvious that that's the case because we've been watching.
Yeah, it's also nice just to see a mundane thing that happens to people all the time and you can relate to that doesn't usually show up. Usually everything's just perfect.
Right. Everything's either perfect or it's broken, so they can't use it.
Yeah.
But it's a plot contrivance whenever that happens. It's never, oh, it's just broken.
It's such a little thing, but it was good to see. It's like how whenever they get boppity booped, you know they're never going to be in the toilet.
Yeah.
They say, Cisco, you need it urgently. And it's like, just a minute. And you hear him fumbling for toilet paper.
Or about to head into the shower or something.
Yeah.
Or turn into a puddle, into a bucket.
Well, it'd be odd if Cisco did that.
Just a bit.
Because you can't melt wood. Oh! And the other thing I wrote down that I thought was particularly good was Quark's think of the children speech.
Oh yeah, very Quark-like.
There's one of these
which
things,
makes sense.
You can see it coming as soon as he says we're donating to the orphanage. You can see he's gonna wrangle in a think of the children type deal, but he even outright says think of the children or the orphans. It's so absolutely shameless.
Which is what you expect from Quark.
Yeah.
I liked Bashir humbly bragging about how great he is and masking it as concern for O'Brien. My greatness is going to kill him. I can't keep being great. He'll die. It's just very Bashir. And I think that's also when he's grabbing all the bottles.
Yeah, he's talking to Dex.
Yeah, so I like that scene a lot.
Well, in his defense, he was good.
Yeah, but just the way he talked about it.
Yeah, he's not being modest, really. Which fits. You wouldn't expect him to be. He's a bit of an awkward guy.
I was hoping they would do more with the idea of aging and being past your prime and how people struggle with that idea. And it's introduced, but they don't really do anything with it.
Yeah, it could have had a sort of poignant message, but they got too distracted by the Whizballs plotline.
Yeah, everything converged into being about probability.
Nothing particularly ridiculous happened with the probability, though. It's weird. They could have had some better coincidences or something more interesting than, some people fell down, and also Dax found a file and then lost it again.
There were some, exactly 2 rules of acquisition.
Yes. Number 47, don't trust a man wearing a better suit than your own.
Which seems silly.
Yeah, because one of them is always going to be wearing a better suit, unless they're wearing the same suit.
And then if you know about that rule, you can just buy the cheapest suit possible, and then you could lull everyone to a false sense of security, and then rob everyone blind.
Yeah, Quark wears quite a snappy suit. He's a nicely tailored guy. He must go to Garrick's.
But his pants legs are the right length, so I don't know.
Goddamn Kardashians. Okay, we also had 109. Dignity and an empty sack is worth the sack. I thought that one was good, actually.
That one I liked, yeah.
They nailed it. It was good how that lady at the start was scamming as well. That was unexpected to me.
Yeah, and a good way to bookend the episode. She's clearly set up as the victim in the beginning, and so it was nice to see that turn in the end.
Yeah, it was a nice twist.
They even tricked Odo.
No, because he arrested her.
Well, he removed the guy from the situation first, thinking he was saving the woman.
Oh, yeah, kind of. But he had a reason to remove him, not because of that. But yeah, I guess, like you said, he did seem to have that motive as well. I don't know why Quark bailed the guy out.
I'm not sure either.
He sort of seemed to want to get rid of him, like he was buying his freedom to get rid of him. But
so
the guy was
near
no
him?
threat at all. Well, because the guy opened a bar, presumably cut into Quark's profits, but he's broke and a criminal. I don't see Quark's motive really for getting rid of him, other than he's not there in the next episode and they needed to get rid of him so that it makes sense.
I bet there's a rule of acquisition about completely thwarting your enemies.
Do you have a quote that you have cribbed from the show?
I do. I was tempted to make the quote Odo's grunt, but yes, that one. But I have a real one. When hearts are in sympathy, time collapses. And my heart was not in sympathy with this episode, so time expanded.
It did drag a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't engaged. You really nailed it with that ratio. There's some good bits in there, but way more non-good bits.
Well, it happens. I think they try things. That's part of the reason this show is interesting, is they do try interesting stuff. And it doesn't always work.
Yeah, and you can't expect it to always work. At least they're trying new things and not just relying on the same patterns that have worked.
Yeah, changing the laws of probability is an interesting idea. It didn't really work. And in hindsight, maybe they wouldn't have done this episode, or they would have done it quite differently. But it was still an interesting idea. And I'm glad that they use interesting ideas, even if they don't always work.
Yes, agreed. Caikos, end of the podcast.
Let's see if our hearts are in sync with the next episode.
Yes, let's hope.